there, folks. Welcome to another episode of Is It Real or Is It Fake? I'm your host, Ron. Many people can recognize certain artist names like Warhol, Rubens, Rembrandt, Van Gogh, and so on. With great names like these come collectors from far and wide hoping to get their hands on authentic work. But one problem that many collectors run into when searching for works by such great names are the fakes. Is this a copy? Was it done by a pupil? Or could this be the real thing? This is a typical problem, particularly with Rembrandt prints. We asked our inside source to explain more about this. Claire, can you tell us a bit about what you do?
I am currently an employee at the Rembrandt Museum located in Sarasota, Florida. I work in the archives where I help digitize mostly ephemera for the museum to make it more accessible to the public online.
So have you ever digitized any Rembrandt prints?
Yes, actually. Around March or April of 2016, I digitized 5 Rembrandt prints total. The director of the museum was having them authenticated for their owners, who were considering making them a promise gift to the Rembrandt Museum.
So, were they real?
Well, I wouldn't be able to answer that because that is not in my realm of expertise.
Why are we even interviewing her if,
But I would be happy to answer that because I do have my own personal opinion and some background knowledge on the subject. The thing about Rembrandt prints that makes them tricky is not just because they are so valuable at this day and age, but also that he had so many students that he taught who studied his style very closely. The Getty Museum once showcased an exhibit specifically on Rembrandt and non-authentic Rembrandts. Some were copies, but most are from his students. In fact, for hundreds of years, many pieces were thought to be Rembrandts, but were actually done by his students who have mastered his style. If there isn't a signature on the piece, it can be hard to tell. Rembrandt worked so quickly and produced so many sketches that he oftentimes never even signed his own work, which made them a pretty tricky situation for collectors nowadays. Sometimes Rembrandt would even be sitting next to his own students sketching the same scene and the same figure at different angles, which is why some people thought that he might have done these works. But in fact they were done by his students sitting across from him. So the Getty Museum put 2 incredibly similar sketches next to one another and would encourage visitors to try to spot which one they believed the true Rembrandt piece was.
The Rembrandt Museum has a Rembrandt painting, does it not?
If you're referring to the Lamentation, then answering that question actually becomes a little tricky. Do people attribute it to Rembrandt? Yes. Was it painted by him? Most likely not.
Well, how can you tell?
Well, just the subject alone, we can tell a lot about it. It was originally said to be a Rembrandt print for many years, but in 1960 it became a hot debate amongst scholars. This was a popular subject painted at this time, but there are a few details about this piece that just don't seem right.
For example?
Well, for example, the color of Jesus' skin. While painting him so pale and frail looking was normal for Rembrandt's style, it was not normal for his skin to be so gray. This was not a technique that Rembrandt used. Also, Jesus' neck seems to be in an awkward position. Rembrandt was a master at painting and drawing figures, so this seems out of character for the master's typical style. In addition, the third woman who is leaning against the cross seems to have no meaningful purpose in this painting. So this sort of thoughtlessness does not seem like the work of the great master painter.
Then who painted this beast?
Well, this was most likely done by a student of his. He definitely painted the scene at some point, so a student was possibly using this favorite subject at the time and used some techniques and style choices similar to Rembrandt, but there are too many flaws in it for it to be solely his.
Well, there you have it, folks. So remember, collectors, if it walks like a Rembrandt, if it talks like a Rembrandt, well, it still might not be a Rembrandt. So make sure you always get your works authenticated. Thank you so much for your time today here, Cliff. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.